business. I mean, that's the challenge. The race is not only called No Business, the area is called No Business. It formerly was an old logging camp that survived into the early 1900s. The settlers in the area termed the area No Business. People had no business living there.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There's areas called Difficulty Creek, or as we say locally, Difficulty Creek, Troublesome Creek, Lonesome. These are some of the place names that people gave this area, and that is the primary area of the race. Not only does a runner have to deal with the length of the race and the challenge of the race, they have to deal with emotional factors that go along with that as well. Being isolated for long periods of time, being in the middle of the woods where you do not hear a vehicle, you do not hear a train, you do not, I mean, if you hear an owl, you're lucky. So a lot of those things factor into this race, and again, play to its uniqueness, play to its challenge. It's a grueling race. 100 miles by any means is grueling. This race has about 14,000 feet of elevation gain, which is really, it's a really big challenge in itself for this type of race. And that elevation gain comes a lot in just some of the No Business Hill. Runners are along No Business Creek, coming through an isolated area in the middle of the night. They're trying to get into an aid station, and they have about 800 feet of continuous climb out of No Business Creek to get to the top of the ridge and to that aid station. So little things like that make it extremely challenging for people.
If you're running the No Business 100, you are definitely determined. You have to have a strong, just want to do, a strong will, and you are, I don't want to say looking for something, but you are looking to push yourself.
I think we all feel in a way that we have to challenge ourselves, or something ingrained just in humans in general that wants us to challenge ourselves emotionally or challenge ourselves physically. Lots of times you don't get both of those challenges. You get the emotional challenge in whatever it is that you seek out to do, or you get the physical challenge in whatever it is that you seek out to do. You don't get both of those. People like to push themselves in that regard, to see how far they can push themselves before they break. And in the first 2 years of this race, we had over 100 entries in the first 2 years, and barely half of those people finished. So knowing that you're being pushed to the far edge limit of what you can do emotionally and physically is something that people crave.
94.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how you feel right now? You're doing great. You are.
Are you cold? I'm freezing. Oh gosh. I haven't been moving.
Where's Amy's, where's that
Copy that.
You're doing it for yourself. You have to be, and you're maybe trying to see if you can do it. Are you strong enough, or I am strong enough. I think that's what you have to do this, because being a volunteer, seeing runners at that 80-mile point, freezing, tired, they've been up for over 24 hours, but they're still going to keep going, and helping them, push them, and seeing them feel like that they're almost broken. But then I go to the finish line and I can see them cross the finish line and how happy they are, and just they're exhausted, but they've completed this, and I think that's big, and just good for their soul.
Nobody's gonna give a damn. Son of a bitch, give me a drink.
Yeah, I think, really successful race this year. The biggest thing to take away from this race was how amazing the volunteers were. That was the one thing that I heard from pretty much every runner that came through here, is how amazing and welcoming the volunteers were, and that's what makes this race successful. 2019, it's gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna be shifting things around a little bit, but it's gonna be probably even better experience. I don't know how you get better than this year, but we're gonna take it up a notch. So get ready for the announcement coming in about a week or so, and we'll see you next year.
All right, I'm Jordan Quint. This is my second year running No Business. This year I ran 21:36 and I got third place overall. The great thing about this race, they care about their runners. They want to see you finish just as much as you want to see you finish, and they give you the opportunity to do that by providing outstanding aid stations. They do training runs throughout the year leading up to it, where they let you see large portions of the course. And if you're going to run, you need to hit those up, because you need to know where you're going.
It's, No Business is awe-inspiring and passionate, and it's just, I just think it's impossible to describe it in one word.
This course is like non-stop beautiful scenery. If you get a chance to look up, you can actually see stuff that you wouldn't see hardly anywhere else. From the amazing rock houses to the great arches that you can see, and then the beautiful vistas where you can look out over the river gorges.
No business in one word equates to perseverance. If the runners in this race choose not to persevere, they will fail. If the volunteers who help support this race do not persevere, the race will fail. I think everything to this race comes back to perseverance.
This is my first No Business. This is my first 100-mile race.
Any tips, tricks for the trails?
When you think you've done enough hill training, do some more, because it's never enough. And strengthen your legs, because that's what I'm dealing with right now. Is the legs are good for, I don't know, 50 miles, but once you get beyond that, they give up on you. Favorite part of the race? There are two things. The views here are second to none. You won't find a prettier race. And two, the volunteers, the aid stations, top notch. There's just they're there for you. The food's amazing, and they just great support.
Train hard, and just be persistent, because it'll take it out of you, but everything you put back into it, you'll get rewarded for it.
It's no business. Don't go there. You have no business being there, but they went there anyway, and they persevered. People in Appalachia persevere everywhere they go, and so I think that's a really unique quality for people who come and run this race. They see it in the same way that people hundreds of years before them saw it, and they choose to persevere and find a way to finish.
It's a wonderful race, and it brings me just as much joy as it does the runners. It's exhausting. But it's one of the most beautiful things to see it all come together and all complete, and see those runners finish. It's just something that's part of us, and I'm happy to have that in my life now.
And that brings Snow Business 2019 to a close. That's all the runners. The last time was like 32 something. All in all, it's a fantastic year. It's a great event, and I'm glad to be a part of it. Can't wait to see it all come together, and can't wait for next year. No Business, Run Yamacraw, signing off.